Good afternoon all. I have had a very busy day. It's still school holidays here, but I had a shower and look, I've got all these lemons, a big basket of fresh lemons from my parents' tree, and I figured I am ready. I'm just going to make 3 jars of preserved lemons. And I thought, you know what, let's film this for next week's YouTube episode. I was going to do a whole recipe. This week is hectic. So I'm going to show you how I make my beautiful preserved lemons. These take a little bit of time, meaning to make them today, it's a little bit of like a couple of weeks of process to let them ferment and do their thing before they're ready. I tell you, once you have a jar of preserved lemons, they are great for desserts, they are great for salad dressings, they are good for soups, they are great for casseroles. I put them in everything. Everything you'd put a lemon in, you would use preserved lemons. It just enhances the lemon taste in food without the added bitterness, I would say. And something that I want to also let you know, which I will explain as we make it, it is important, and sometimes you get lemons that have a thick flesh, and that is all the more reason to make a jar of preserved lemons with, because ultimately when they preserve and they're ready to use, you are using the flesh, not the pulp inside. I mean, you can use all of it, but literally take the rind, or like the outside of it, you finely dice it and you add it into your dish. So the thicker the skin, the better. Might not necessarily be the case with, using fresh lemons, but for preserved, they're the best. So anyway, let's flip the camera around, I'm going to show you how easy it is. Anyway, let's go. All right, what you're going to need are your lemons, okay? Now, if these are organic, great. Thicker the flesh, the better. If you bought them from the shop, make sure you give the skin a very, very good scrub, okay? Because we want to get all, any wax or anything that's from the shop off them. These are from the tree. I've given them a good wash. We have some jars, big enough. Obviously, it's my hand. The bigger, kind of the better, but I'm just going to be using these jars. I've dishwashed, sterilized them. I've just dishwashed them really, really well. We have a whole heap of cooking salt, okay? And we have some black peppercorns and, of course, bay leaves. They're the kind of things we're going to put in the jar. Now, let us just give it a rundown. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of techniques. Some people, okay, can remove the ends of the lemon like that and slice the lemon just sort of down lengthways into a cross as such, okay, leaving the bottom still attached. Then they open it up and salt inside here, put the whole thing into the jar. I do not have a big enough jar, so we are going to just literally slice it all the way down. But first things first, before we do that, I add in about a tablespoon or 2 of salt. I'm using cooking salt here, Himalayan. You can use salt flakes. Just don't use table salt. I think table salt is crap anyway. So just cover the bottom of the jar with salt as such. Obviously, this is the key ingredient here to preserve. Add some salt to the jar, just doing 3 jars at the same time. Okay, then we are going to, I'm going to slice up a bunch of lemons. All right, let's just take the ends off as such. I mean, I've just got literally this crappy knife. And can you see how the flesh is quite thick? So every time, like these lemons, obviously they're great. They're great for cooking, but I just find the thicker the skin, the better for preserved lemons. When these end up becoming preserved, okay, this softens, completely breaks down. This also, the skin gets really soft. You then remove the flesh and you dice up the skin, and that's what you actually use in your recipes. I'm just going to slice up pieces. I actually prefer doing little wedges as such because, oh my gosh, they're so juicy. Because when I'm cooking later on, I don't want to use the whole lemon per se. I just want to take out a little wedge, a wedge of 2, and then I, will add it into the dish. I like to do this over a bowl. You want to rub salt all over the lemon pieces, and we're going to add them into the jar. In between adding layers, add a little bit of a sprinkle more of salt, okay? And we'll add a couple of black peppercorns, a bay leaf, just nice aromats. That is totally optional, mind you, okay? We're going to make sure that these lemons are completely compacted into the jar. So I'll use the end of, I don't know, a wooden spoon to make sure that they are completely jam crammed in there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to juice some lemons as well. I want to make sure that all these lemon wedges are submerged in lemon juice. I'm going to top the jar with a little bit of olive oil, and I'll explain what to do next. All right, between each sort of layer, can you just tell I'm reusing jars here? I'm adding a couple of bay leaves halfway through, some peppercorns, just beautiful aromats. I'm going to jam cram these as much as possible. I will use just a real big, just compact them as much as possible. So let's just go through the method. These will be completely filled, jam cram them, fill them up with lemon juice, a little bit of oil on the top. 4 weeks they're going to be in a pantry. 4 weeks exactly. But for the first 2 weeks, all we're going to do is just literally take the jar and just tilt it, just shake, not shake it, just tilt it a little bit, okay, to make sure that all that salt is evenly distributed. After 2 weeks, I'm going to open the jar, make sure that like all the lemons are completely submerged in liquid. We're just going to top it up with olive oil just to prevent any mold. And then we're going to leave it in the cupboard for 2 weeks. So 4 weeks total. First 2 weeks we're rotating, topping it up with any olive oil, close the jar, put it back in the pantry for 2 weeks, and then it is pretty much ready to, you know, you can use it after the 4 weeks. But for me, I find that if you wait for the 3-month mark, that's when it's really good. 3-month onwards, it is just more florally. It is the flesh. They're pretty much, when the flesh sogs, that's when it's ready to. That's when it's kind of been ready to be used. I love them so much. Yotam is the king of preserved lemons, in my opinion. Lots of people use it. It's in lots of cultures. For Middle Eastern culture, it's generally where we use it. I feel like once you get into a habit of using preserved lemons, you won't turn back. Literally, you won't. All right, I'm going to fill all these up. Make sure the jars are full with the lemons. Then I will top it up with lemon juice because I'll have extra lemons over there to juice. Top it up, and then add some aromats. That's it. We're done. We'll be done. Oh, jeez, there's lemon juice going everywhere. All right, I'm just using something heavy to just compact all the lemons. We don't really want much air pockets. Okay, we want to compact them as much as possible. Okay, and I've juiced about 4 lemons. I can't tell you exact thing because it's just a rule of thumb. So we're going to just make sure that the whole jar is submerged with lemon juice. To make sure no lemons are kind of exposed to anything. I'm going to add in 1 other bay, some peppercorns. Okay, I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit just because I'm a bit of a clean freak in that way. Okay, pop the lid on. Which one is it? All right, now what I'm going to do, I like to use a bit of duct tape, and I will write the day that I made this. Every day, I'm just going to turn this. Can you see how there's like salt all at the bottom? So every day for 2 weeks, all you're going to do is that. Rotate it a couple of times, put it back in the pantry. After 2 weeks, take the lid off. Okay, make sure that, you know, everything's submerged. Top it up with just a little bit of olive oil. Put the lid back on and back in the pantry for 2 weeks. You do not need to rotate it after the first 2 weeks. And then you can just put it in the fridge. It is ready to go. I would wait 3 months. I mean, how gorgeous does that look? Oh, I love it so much. I'll probably do more recipes using preserved lemons. I know some people are very interested in the concept of it and unsure, like what to make with them or what to use with them. I literally use them instead of lemon juice in a lot of marinades and recipes. It is just amazing. Actually, I'm going to see if I've got any left in the fridge, and I'll show you what it looks like after this concoction is made. Lucky last, see? Meant to be. Lucky last. Look, that's how. This is like, I can't even tell you, I think like 10 months. 10 months of preserving. Can you see how it is nice and soft? It's changed colour. So what you do, say you take out a wedge, literally just remove the flesh as such. You can use the flesh. I generally don't. I like to use just the rind. Tip, as you can see, I've just got a spare jar here because I'm actually going to roast a whole chicken tomorrow, and I'm going to add this to the marinade. You will be very surprised how much just this one little piece of lemon rind will add flavour. I find that also adding this adds the lemon flavour to a dish but doesn't dry it out as much. It is great for, like I said, salad marinades. I'm going to add just some oregano, a little bit of garlic. I put dried oregano, fresh parsley, garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper, and I will then marinate the whole chicken with it. So I'll just put this in the fridge with a bit of olive oil soon. And that's it. It is so handy. Goes great with fish, goes great with pork, goes great with everything. If you don't have preserved lemons in your fridge or pantry, I hope that this little video tutorial has encouraged you to give it a go. I love it. It makes a perfect gift as well for someone. So I'll probably gift one of these to someone because my parents will definitely give me more lemons from their tree. Yeah, and that's it. So when life gives you lemons, just preserve them. All right, until another episode, bye. And we forgot to date it. Anyway, this just helps you track the days so that when you are in the 2-week and 4-week phase, you know exactly when they were made. Yeah. Enjoy, guys.